Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to narrate another interesting story written by Mrs.Sudha Murthy. The title of the story is Mother's Love. I was once invited to speak on motherhood at a seminar. It was a well attended seminar and people from different walks of life had gathered. Some were medical practitioners, others were from orphanages, adoption agencies, and NGOs. Religious heads, successful mothers, the definition of which, according to the organizers, were those whose children had done well in life and earned lots of money. Young mothers all were there. There were numerous stalls selling baby products, books on motherhood, on how to handle adolescents, etc. The speakers were good, and most of the time they spoke from the heart about their experiences. The media was present in full force, clicking away photos of celebrities. Since this had been organized by the Social Welfare Department, there were many government officials and a big gathering of students too. When my turn came, I started narrating an incident that I had been witness to many years ago. Manjula was a cook in a friend, Dr. Arati's house. Manjula's husband was a good for nothing. She had 5 children, and when she became pregnant for the 6th time, she decided to get it aborted. She also decided to get a tubectomy done. Dr. Arati, however, came up with a different idea. Her sister was rich but childless and wanted to adopt a newborn baby. She was desperately searching for one, so Arati gave a suggestion. Manjula, instead of aborting the baby, why don't you deliver it irrespective of the gender? My sister will adopt it. She does not even stay in this city, so you won't need to see the baby's face ever. She will adopt it legally and help you with the education of your remaining children too. This child, which is now unwanted, will be brought up well with lots of love. Think it over. The decision is yours, and I will not insist. Manjula thought for a couple of days and finally agreed to the proposal. In a few months, she delivered a baby girl. Dr. Arati's sister also arrived that day after completing all the formalities. It had been decided that she would take the baby a day after it was born. But when the time came to hand over the child, Manjula refused to give her away. Her breasts were now full of milk and the baby had started feeding. She pressed the baby against her weak body and started crying. I agreed that I am very poor. Even if I get a handful of rice, I will share that with this baby. But I cannot part with her. She is so tiny and so completely dependent on me. I am breaking my promise, but I cannot live without my child. Please pardon me. Arati and her sister were naturally upset. They had prepared themselves to welcome this baby to their family. But seeing Manjula weep, they realized that motherhood may not always answer to the logic of agreements. I concluded my speech saying that many times I have seen a mother is ready to sacrifice anything for her children. Motherhood is a natural instinct. Our culture glorifies it, and a mother is held in great respect over anybody else. I was rewarded with great applause. I too was satisfied with my speech. I stepped down from the podium and saw Meera standing nearby. She was blind and taught orphans in a blind school. She was representing her school at the seminar. I knew her fairly well because I visited her school often. I went up to her and said, Meera, how are you? She was quiet for a minute. I'm fine, madam. Can you do me a favor? Tell me, what is it? Ahmed Ismail was supposed to pick me up and drop me to my school, but just now he called up on my cell phone and said that he is stuck in a traffic jam and will take more time. Can you drop me to my school? Ahmed Ismail was a trustee of the blind school. Meera's school was on my way to the office, and so I agreed immediately. In the car, I noticed that she was very quiet and so started the conversation. Meera, how was the seminar today? Did you like my lecture? I was expecting the usual polite answer, saying it was very good. But Mira answered, I did not like your lecture. Sorry for being so blunt, but life is not always like that. I was taken aback. I wanted to know the reason behind it and asked her, Tell me, Mira, why did you say that? What I narrated was a true incident and not a story. Sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. Mira sighed, Yes. Sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. That is really what I wanted to tell you. Let me tell you another story. There was once a 5-year-old girl who was half blind. Both her parents were laborers. The girl would complain often that she could not see clearly, but they would say that it was because she was not eating properly, and they would take her to the doctor when they managed to collect some money. One day they finally took her to the doctor. He told them the girl needed an operation which cost a lot of money, else she would go blind slowly. The parents discussed something between themselves and took her to a bus stand. They gave her a packet of biscuits and told her, Child, eat the biscuits and we will be back in 5 minutes. For the first time in her life, the child had got an entire packet of biscuits for herself. She was overjoyed and sat down to enjoy them. With her half-blind eyes, she could just make out her mother's torn red sari pallu disappear in the crowd. The day wore on. It started getting colder, and she realized that it was getting dark. The packet of biscuits was over long back. She was alone, helpless, and scared. She started calling for her parents and searched in vain for them, trying to spot the torn red pallu. What happened after that? The child continued to search for her parents, sleeping wherever she got a place. One day, a kind-hearted man saw her pitiable condition and took her to the blind school. The child could not give any address or name by which they could trace the parents. He requested the matron that in case any parent came forward to claim the child, they could hand over her after examining them. But nobody came looking for her. The child waited for her mother for several years till one day she gave up all hope. I turned to Mira to see she was crying and I realized so was I. Even though I knew the answer in my heart, I asked her, Mira, how did you know all these details about that child? Through her tears, she replied, Because I was that half-blind child. Now tell me, how could my mother leave me like that? She deceived me with a pack of biscuits. What happened to the motherhood that you spoke so strongly about? Is poverty more powerful than motherhood? I did not have any answer for her, but could only hold her hand in my own. I realized that there were as many kinds of mothers as there are people on this earth, and poverty can lead to acts of great desperation. Even today, if I happen to see a woman on the road wearing a red sari, I think of Mira and her experience of motherhood. So friends, this is the story. And please comment on the question, is poverty more powerful than motherhood? You can also share your experiences similar to this. If you like my video, please subscribe and give a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, friends.